Let us take a minute to look around and appreciate where we're standing. This wonderful park, we're standing in Lenape land, the land of the Lenape people. I want to acknowledge the original stewards of this land. We hope to honor and respect the land of this park by advocating its use as a resilient, blood-absorbing sponge, working with the riverside ecosystem rather than in defiance of it. We oppose the escrow project that continues to assault on the land and recognize it adds a layer of injury on the ongoing systematic oppression of the original stewards of the land and the Lenape people. It is the land that changed a lot. It was colonized and built out. Look at the big, beautiful trees. Some of them turned 82 years old on July 27th. They can live another 50 to 80 years cleaning and cooling the air we breathe if they weren't slated for destruction this coming October. The trees provide shading, they provide storm protection, they provide cooling, they provide weatherization from the sun and other toxins in the air. If you cut down these trees, you're gonna have 82 years of carbon dioxide in the air that the trees have been holding, and that's gonna be toxic to our environment. They wanna change the flooding system that we have, which is natural and absorbed by the roots of the tree when there's a storm, with pooling and tunneling of the water through drainage, which is gonna not be resilient. The concrete is gonna rot. So please, keep on the efforts of helping us save the park and bring awareness to what they're doing to our trees.
Coming together, and I mean like real magic that can change policy and bring things into being. So that power and that magic of thinking this into being, thinking the possibility into being. Turn me around, turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking on freedom land. Yeah. I'll read it. Somebody called it up.
The closing code.
I think she said she.
leg, come on. Your leg. But is this a line there? So come with the
Could you bring the banner here?
Careful, please.
Yeah, Ed, this way. Just maybe on this side.
And then you can line up with the yellow line.
Está bien, así no trabajas y te siguen pagando. Aunque no trabajes, te siguen pagando.
Yo creo
No te preocupes.
Hi everyone. There's a yellow line here on
Porque ellos no están en contra de ustedes, es el gobierno.
all the way to the
No se
mixed-use
preocupe.
pathway. So just go ahead and line yourselves up, hold your hands, stand with your friends, stand
Guys,
with your
come
neighbors.
No, tú sabes, ellos no están en contra de ustedes están haciendo su trabajo, pero es el gobierno, es el alcalde. Pero ellos, el problema es con el alcalde, no con ustedes.
Nosotros queremos hacer cosas por esto.
Pero no, lo van a destruir. Lo van a destruir. O sea, lo que va a pasar es que lo van a destruir. Todos los árboles, ustedes saben, ¿verdad?
No, lo que vamos a hacer es arbolitos.
No, esa es la gran mentira. Todos los árboles van a ser cortados.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Todos.
And you'll get paid.
starting to come up for the press to give a damn. New York Times publishing an article in which they did not actually talk to most people that live in the NYCHA residency across the street. They decided to talk to one person when most people actually are opposing this plan. But of course, they're going to frame it as if we are a minority. But we know we're not a minority, right? We know that most people don't want to see this park destroyed. So I'm glad to see the press here. Thanks so much for nothing. But I'm glad that you're here now so that you can see that we're still here. We're still going to be out here doing everything we can to protect this park. Thank you very much. Just wanted to reiterate that our anger is not at the construction workers. Because these are essential workers. These are the people in our city who keep our city running. And it is their job. And they're out here doing what they're being told to do. But it is not, we are not against the construction workers. We are against this horrible plan that they are the ones that are brought out to carry out. So no hostility towards the construction workers. These are our fellow New Yorkers. I just wanted to say that. Carlina the coward, we're not tired.
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 You got a lot better. You're doing it. Put the pole down and go.
Turn me around, ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, walking on freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking. This is our freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around,
Turn me around.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, staying on freedom land, saving this freedom land. Our part, our part, our part, our part, our part, our part.
Come up with a solution that does not involve destroying the entire park. This park has been here for 80 years. All of us have a lot of memories. We grew up in this park. This is the biggest green space in the east side, the lower east side, below Central Park. And this park is like one of the last parks that's unique. Every other park now has been turned to like the Met parks. You know, look at Domino Park, look at Hudson River Park. They're all concrete. You know, nobody can picnic there, nobody can barbecue there. This is one of the last parks that's left, that's original. We have to preserve it. I mean, yes, we understand. Again, it's like we want flood protection. We need it. Yes, we all been through Sandy. We've all dealt with it.
Trees are flood protection.
You know, and the park absorbed a lot of that water during Sandy, and it was open like a couple of days later. You know, the cities say that the trees are dying. That's a lie. Do the trees look like they're dying too? That's their justification for killing this park, because the trees are dying. And the reason why some of the trees actually are dying is because of lack of maintenance on their part. You know, and Lower East Side Ecology was a huge steward of this park, and they're kicking them out. So anyway, that's what we're here for today. We are protesting this work. We're starting here, and that's why we're here. And thank you for coming here. We have a couple of speakers. Our first speaker, I think everybody knows, you know, who's been behind us for this.
Hey everyone, how you doing? I want to first thank everyone for coming here today, here early at 6:30 in the morning, for the people who are putting their bodies on the line today and willing to be arrested to save this park, to save these trees, and save this community. You know, every year we see hurricanes getting worse. We see floodings getting worse. We see fires take up half a state. And we in New York City say we're better than everyone. We're greener, we're smarter. But then how do we create a plan that does the complete opposite? That make us look like idiots to the international green community. Because of money. Because of money, that is true. And because of politicians that allow these special interests to say whether they're gonna save the community they represent or allow it to be destroyed. Look, I read that New York Times article. I threw it out so quickly because they interview one person from public housing who claims to speak for public housing but also works for NYCHA. That's not a fair representation of the people that live in this neighborhood, that their kids play Little League Baseball in this park. When I was a kid, I used to come here every week to play football, baseball, and basketball, to have a space to breathe, to have a space where I could run away or get away from the crimes that are happening on the corner of our blocks. This was sanctuary for me. Now, for years and maybe decades, kids will not have that opportunity. What they're gonna see is pollution, contamination. But for what? For what? Because we couldn't close one parking lane on the FDR? This is a shame. Our elected officials should be disgraced. Shame. But we will not forget. And so that's why I'm proud to stand with these people, with these green activists, with these parents, with these kids, with these seniors, because we're gonna win today and we're gonna win this week. We just have to remain out here. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Chris. You know you have a busy schedule. Thank you for stopping by. Next speaker, we have, so just so that you know, what's going on is not only happening in East River Park, it's happening all over the city. You know, in Brooklyn, you know, in Inwood, and there's actually, you know, I don't know if you guys know what's going on with Elizabeth Street Garden. Yeah. You know, they're getting ready to close that. For the name of affordable for senior housing, when they could just build an entire building somewhere else down there, on an empty lot. You know. So the next speaker.
Office space. I'm a another building that's sitting empty.
Oh, there you go. So the next speaker is from Elizabeth Street Garden. Is Joseph River.
I like River too.
I always get that messed up.
Thank you, Manny. So, when I was talking to Manny about the points for today and what we should be keeping in our minds, and she said the usual. And so I thought the usual. Okay, I'm going to go down the usual issues that are being highlighted here. And I started going down the track record, and then I thought that's a problem right there, is that it's the usual. What's the usual in this city, right? What's the usual? The usual is elected officials or politicians running campaigns, listening to the community, and then when they're in office, where are they? Because they're not here, except one. Yeah, one here. But most of the time, the usual is them not showing up. The usual is Carlina Rivera. The usual is Bill de Blasio. The usual is saying one thing and doing the other. The usual is the media feeding that false divide. This is a false divide, the same way Elizabeth Street Garden is a false divide. It's a false choice. But the city government, Bill de Blasio, they love to perpetuate these false choices. They love to have us here having to explain complex land issues to the general public. Because odds are, most people won't stand the test of time. But are we standing the test of time? Yeah. We're standing the test of time. I know that because I've been talking about East River Park the same way I've been talking about Elizabeth Street Garden for years. This process goes back. I remember going to the initial planning meetings when there was another plan, when there was a better plan that didn't involve destroying 1,000 trees in the name of climate resiliency. That's ludicrous.
And they need to clean the gutters.
And the media feeds this often. The New York Times feeds this. We are very familiar at Elizabeth Street Garden with the New York Times feeding a false choice.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
And so it's up to us. It's up to us to continue to show up, to continue to highlight the elected officials who don't do what they say they're going to do. The elected officials who never show up with the community, who quote one person that they always quote, instead of coming here and listening to everyone here about what it means to save East River Park. Because that would be the unusual, right? That wouldn't be the usual. That would be politicians showing up. So I thank Chris Marte for showing up to the East River Park. I thank him for showing up to Elizabeth Street Garden. But I want to say that we stand with you because this fight for green space, at-risk green space, it's a citywide issue. And we've been saying that from the beginning at Elizabeth Street Garden, back when people were doubtful, back when people said, no, this is a local issue. It is not a local issue. It is a local issue, but it's a citywide issue first and foremost. And it takes locals to raise that awareness. It takes everyone here to raise that awareness, to call out those who are seeking to divide, and to stand together and find a real solution. So I'm hopeful for a real solution. I'm hopeful for this new administration, and I'm hopeful that we can save East River Park. And Elizabeth Street Garden, we stand with you. And it's up to us to stand together in the fight for at-risk green space. So we're here. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph, for coming by. Next speaker, we're really happy that this next person joined our team. Yeah, she is a New York Supreme Court judge. Was retired. She used to be the council person for District 1, and she's been a tremendous help with our lawsuits. So our next speaker is Catherine Freed.
All right. Oh, hey, it works. Okay, thank you very much, Danny. Yeah, well, as Danny just said, up until earlier this year, I was a Supreme Court Justice. Can you hear me? Okay. Closer? All right. Up until about June of this year, I was the Supreme Court Justice, and prior to that time, I was the council member for 10 years for Lower Manhattan. I also just want to make it clear, in case there's anyone here from the New York Times, I live in a complex that is directly across the street from the FDR Drive, and we did have flooding during Superstorm Sandy. So we have a direct interest in this. In addition to the fact that we love this park. This park is our backyard. This park is our recreation. This is where families from NYCHA can get out, walk across the street, sit down with their family, have parties, have barbecues, interact with everyone else. The kids from this neighborhood come out here and they get into group sports, either through their schools or through softball leagues or all the leagues that cater to the kids, and they get a chance to interact with everyone. All these are very, very important, and they're huge importance in city life. Now then there's also the question of the trees. Who in their right mind cuts down 1,000 mature, healthy trees to save a park, allegedly? You don't destroy something to save it.
Right.
Anyway, so what I've been doing, in addition to working with everyone on in East River Park Action and all the other groups that are here, I'm also on the legal team. And we will be And we will be going to court as soon as possible, as soon as we can get the papers together to ask for another TRO to go to the Court of Appeals to stop this desecration. So I'm just going to say, I don't get it with your local officials. When I was in the city council, we fought for our community. You don't seem to have one person over here who's fighting for this community. What did this community get for losing an almost 50-acre park? Ferries to go to Governor's Island that you have to pay for? City officials to say the kids can go to Randall's Island when they have nowhere to get there? This is insane. Someone has to fight for this community, and I guess it's us. So, unless you have questions later about the legal process, that's all I have to say. So keep it up!
Thank you, Catherine. You know, when we speak to like a lot of, when we tell the people what's going on with this park, and the response that we get, a lot of them say, oh, they're going to put up condos. Oh, they're going to put up new buildings. That's what they're planning to do. Okay, that's not us saying that. This is what the people in the neighborhood said. So our next speaker, East River Park Action is also part of a coalition called the Coalition to Protect Chinatown's Lower East Side. We are fighting displacement. We are fighting what's going on with the new buildings that they're trying to put up down by 2 bridges. We're trying to protect NYCHA. We're trying to pass the Chinatown Working Group Plan that protects the building height and preservation. So anyway, so our next speaker, Zishan Ning, who's been a really powerful activist in the Lower East Side. So I hope you guys welcome him, and yeah.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Let's be very clear. Bill de Blasio does not care about climate change, does not care about resiliency. Bill de Blasio doesn't care about people's lives, doesn't care about the environment. I often hear people complain that you can never expect the city to get anything done. Well, that's not true, because it depends on who is the city serving. When you look at the park here, and when you look at the towers across the river, you can see very clearly that the city does a very efficient job when it comes to serving the developers' interests.
That's right.
The current plan is not for the community here. I think everyone is clear about that.
Yeah. That's right.
But when you see the lack of repair in nature, when you see how these bad landlords again and again have been evicting tenants and not being held accountable, that's where you can see where the city's interest is not lying. But when you see the 4 towers being proposed just down the block, and when you see the towers, the lawsuit, here, the cities fight every step of the way, spending huge tons of money to try to stop the community's effort. You can see where the interest is the city lies. So that's why the city has no interest in actually protecting us. The city has no interest in actually helping us to defend against the climate change. The city is for the climate change, because they're going to push us all out of the neighborhood and to somewhere else that has no protection. So here we in the Coalition to Protect Chinatown and the Lower East Side, we stand with all of you to try to stop the destruction of the park, to try to stop the displacement of our community. And we stand together and we see how the mayor has been doing. And so we're putting a demand on our next administration. If you really are not what you say, which is you want to do something different from Bill de Blasio, then start here.
Yes.
Start to do something different. Come in, intervene, and stop the destruction of East River Park and stop the displacement of Chinatown and the Lower East Side. Thank you.
Thank you, Sishan. Like I want you guys to keep in mind is that, you know, after this park is done. When it's done, we don't know when that's going to happen. If it's done, you know, who do you think this park is really going to be for? You know,
The rich people.
why are they doing this when they don't have to? Well, anyway, so I'm going to introduce the next speaker. So we've gotten a lot of help from a lot of different organizations, and one of them is Grand Street Dems, who's been a political force, and we have the newly elected president of Grand Street Dems, Marion Rydell.
Thank you, Fanny. So I want to start by saying Bill de Blasio considers the resilience plan of this park part of his legacy. And that's part of why it's being pushed down our throats as quickly as it has been. And that's why we see this destruction going on. And I also want to say that for generations, we have silenced the voices of people who are lower income, who are people of color. First we moved everybody over to city housing. Then now we're trying to take the park away. There was a 4-year planning process where people who are most affected by this park flooding, living in these NYCHA houses, gave their input as to what this park should look like, what the resilience plan should look like. 4 years of people's voices. And then in the room where it happens, in the back room, they changed that plan. Now, this group of people, many of whom are members of the Grand Street Dems, so I want to thank you all for all your work, asked for an independent review. They asked for somebody to come look at the value engineering reports and see if there was a good reason why we chose this plan over the first plan. The lane and FDR Drive, that can't possibly be the only reason that we're giving up this park. They were told first there was no value engineering report. Then they finally got one, and it was redacted. It was more than 50% redacted. They finally got it, and now we're asking for an independent review. The Grand Street Dems voted last January to support this ask for an independent review, and it still hasn't happened. So I guess Bill de Blasio's legacy is more important than the park. It's more important than the people that we've already moved as far out of the city as we possibly could. And now we're going to take away the only health and recreation that exists. Please keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you, Marion. So our next speaker has been a Low East Side fixture. He's been around, and I'm sure you guys see him around. He's been involved in the ESCR plan ever since, from the very, very beginning. Even before the prior plan, he was involved. So, Tonto? Yay!
Hello, my name is Santo from Lower East Side, just taking care of the neighborhood over here. I've been through all these meetings. There was a project called Blue Ray Project that was before Sandy. They was going to fix up the park and everything, fix all the bridges, and the Cooley Bridge too. They was going to make a path by the Con Ed to fix that pitch, to build like a bridge over the highway so everybody could go around it, so there won't be no more pitch. Then after that, there'll be the Sandy. The government says, oh, wow, now we could take away the park. They got an excuse now to take away the park now because Sandy came. We are people. We're living people. You take this park away, you're gonna take a lot of mental people out of here. You're gonna be cases of depression, anxiety attacks, and everything like that. You can't take this park away from us. We're fighting for this, for our health, and for our mental issues. So if you cut down these trees, well, the FDR Drive is going to take our smokes into our lungs. Stop this for our thing. They're talking about climate controls. This is not climate controls. They're cutting down trees. So I'm right here for the first time, for the first day, and 4 years going over there to every single place. And they show us pictures The daytime pictures of floods with cars by PSA-4 flooded. In the daytime, the water was gone already, so they were lying to us from the beginning. So I don't know what. I told him, I says, what's the videos for it? He says, there's no videos. I says, about Con Ed videos. He says, no. Then everybody says, oh, we have to fix it because of Con Ed. I says, Con Ed has their own separate problems. They're supposed to fix it before the floods. That's why we had no electricity for 3 days over here. So it's Con Ed's fault because a lot of people are complaining because that's what we do. So I'm just saying to you, I'm going to stay here until the last day, and it's not going to be the last day. So I'm going to fight for you guys all the time. You see me all around the neighborhood. Everybody knows me. I'm very tough. My name is Tonto. You know what's going to happen if you go wrong. I'm going to clean up town.
Thank you, Tonto. Tonto brought up a good point. You know, one of the reasons why they chose this plan was because they didn't have to fix, Con Ed didn't have to fix the lines, and that's why they chose this plan. But guess what? Con Ed's gonna have to fix the lines. So, gee, I wonder how long is that gonna take? Anyway, so the next speaker is a member of East River Park who's also an organizer who's been an amazing force. Been helping us tremendously. Emily Johnson.
Hi everyone again. Good morning. Already a long morning for so many of us. We gathered in the dark at the amphitheater. We began with some sound. We began with some energy. We began with introducing ourselves, and we began with a commitment to defend this land. To defend and protect East River Park. To defend Lenapehoking. Make no mistake, ESCR is a land grab. ESCR is a land grab on stolen land. We invite everyone to come and join us to defend this land, to protect these trees, to protect our neighbors, our community, our health, our futures. Yes. Join us here at East River Park and in Lenapehoking every day as we refuse ESCR, as we refuse this land grab, as we refuse this fake flood control plan that is actually using resiliency against people. Strong and they know it. Yeah.
Bunch of liars.
Yep. Let's join together. We refuse ESCR.
We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR. We refuse ESCR.
We refuse ESCR.
Hey, Alan, you see, that guy in the gray sweatshirt.
Bury the highway, not the park.
Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park. Bury the highway, not the park.
again, as I mentioned before, a lot of this is happening to a lot of different parks within the city. Our next speaker, who's also been a major force, has been putting on a lot of these amazing actions. This woman, Virginia, putting So the next speaker is Arash Javadi of More Gardens Fund. Thank you.
Check. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. This is what a community looks like. We're here for these amazing trees. They've been here 80 years. They're our elders. They are here, and we are their protectors. I know their hearts are here, letting us know this is the right thing to be doing. So the trees want us to know, no matter what, no matter how we move forward, we're here to take care of the earth that is within us, that we are a part of, and we are all together as one. So stay strong, vision these trees interconnected with all the trees on all our planet, cheering us on, making sure that we have a planet for our children and our children, but mainly for ourselves to be in a place of our hearts and doing the right thing, whatever that means to you. I want to thank all the folks here who've spoken and are standing by this forest, the forest that belongs to all of us. We are the city. Yeah. Folks who are out there are city administration. They are not the city. Without us, they are nobody. They will be sitting there in their offices, twiddling their thumbs. Claim your power as the city. We are the city. And they are our representatives, representing us. So if they are yet to represent us, we need to stand, call our powers, and make sure that they represent the city, which is us. These trees are the city. This earth we stand on is the city. And all of the folks who work for us, who represent us, are to follow the city that is us, our wishes. So connect to that power, connect to that city that is us, and channel that power forward. And make sure that we have this planet that we live on for us to live on and for our children's children to continue living on. So, more gardens, more parks. More gardens! More parks! 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 More gardens! More parks!
More gardens! More parks!
More parks, more trees. New York City's got to breathe. More parks, more trees. New York City has got to breathe. More parks, more trees. New York City's got to breathe. More parks, more trees. New York City's got to breathe. More parks, more trees. New York City's got to breathe. More parks, more trees. New York City's got to breathe. More parks,
free!
Thank you so much, Arash. Our next speaker is a dancer, and she's been working to connect the arts with climate change issues. And welcome, Catherine.
Hi everyone, my name is Catherine de la Cruz. I'm a dancer and a choreographer. I actually live in Brooklyn. I don't live in the Lower East Side, but as many people have said before, this is a citywide issue. This is not just an issue of the Lower East Side. And I think that it's important for us to show solidarity even if you don't live in this neighborhood, because the thing about climate change is that it's global.
Yeah.
It does not matter where you live. It's gonna come for all of us. So if we don't defend this park because, oh, I don't live there, it doesn't affect me, I have some news for you, because we all breathe the same air. And the more that we abuse our climate, the more that we will become sick. I'm a dancer. I feel like that's important to say, because as dancers, the breath is one of the most important things. The grounding of the earth, the feeling of those vibrations is so important in dance, and it's what makes me feel present. And being present is so important in this fight, because New York City is a city that makes you walk around it kind of like a zombie. It kind of strips some of your soul away, I would say, because there is a disconnect between our existence here and our existence as human beings, which means that we are nature. We are not separate from the trees. We are not separate from these waters. We are part of it, and because there is so little green space in New York, sometimes we feel like we're just in this concrete box. And the destruction of these parks, the few parks that we have left, just contributes to that general feeling of unease, to those high depression and anxiety levels that people experience here. I'm in disbelief. I cannot believe that the city is going through with this plan, because when I first heard about it, I heard about it over this last summer when I met Emily Johnson, and I was appalled. I can't believe that this is actually happening. I feel a great amount of grief, and I feel a great amount of frustration, because what we're saying makes sense, and it's just logical. It's just logical, and there's a great amount of gaslighting that is going on here against the people that live in this neighborhood, to try to tell us that up is down and down is up. There is no way that cutting down trees makes us more resilient. There's no way that is how we make a city that is greener. It just doesn't make any sense. And I just wanted to invite everyone to breathe together, because we are here doing what's right. We are on the right side of history. Not the politicians, not the New York Times, not these journalists that I cannot even call them journalists, because what they're doing is not journalism. What they're doing is being mouthpieces for special interests and mouthpieces for money. They don't care about the actual story here, and like this gentleman over here said, they're trying to pit groups against each other that don't make sense. Of course we want climate resiliency. Yeah. Of course people in the Lower East Side don't want to be flooded. They're the ones affected. It's not Bill de Blasio. It's the people that live right here. So how can you say that this is climate change resiliency versus, oh, people that want a park? That's a false dichotomy. And I think everybody here knows that. And I hope that more people know about this issue, and that they get involved in any way that they can. Thank you very much. Thank you. I need about 8 to 10 people to again move the line over on this side. If you're feeling strong, if you're feeling like you don't mind seeing, there's some activity that way. So if you don't mind, just maybe 10 folks just holding the line down on that side as well, that would be really great.
Hey, hi, I'm Kay. I know a lot of you probably don't know me. I'm a local artist here. I'm born and raised in the Lower East Side. My family has been here since the 50s. Okay, my family can tell you stories of this park in the 60s and the 70s. And it's devastating. And I'm really disappointed to know, like, I just found out, late in the game. But I'm here now. And one thing that I have noticed that nobody has seemed to brought up yet is, we have this plan here about climate resistance, right? And we're saying that, they're building this in the anticipation of not allowing the Lower East Side to flood if there's another Sandy. What I have yet to hear anybody say is what's going to happen if the Sandy happens the day they cut the last tree down. Because what will happen is our floodwaters will go significantly more inland than they were when they were in Sandy. And the people in here, it won't just be ecocide, it will be genocide, okay? My family members died in Sandy. And now you're basically telling me that you want me to die here too. And that's wrong. And you know it. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you. Woo! Build a wall on Wall Street.
Thank you. So, yeah,
I've lived here for 40 years, and this is where we live here, my kids,
to government meetings since 2019. deceptions of this plan is that I learned that the city actually has been working on flood prevention for this area since the 1990s. They actually knew that this was a problem. So when the park was renovated in 2001, 2002, and coming forward to the 2010, they actually were taking into consideration flood prevention. And that's important to know because it's not as destructive as this current plan is. But I just want to say, keep up the fight. I'm with you. My children are with you. My husband is with you. My neighbors are with you. We're in this together. Please hug a tree today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Go, Ellie.
Eco side, which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I messed it up.
Are you on the side of suicide? Are you on the side of genocide? Are you on the side of genocide? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Are you on the side of suicide? Are you on the side of genocide? Are you on the side of ecocide? Which side are you on? Asking which side are you on? Which side are you on? Are you on the side of suicide?
Oh, you guys are good. Stand by.
This is Sergeant Martinez from the Parks Department. You are currently occupying property of the parks, and your presence is obstructing the process of a city construction site. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be filed against you. If you refuse to, you will be subject to an arrest.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, this is Sergeant Martinez from the Parks Department. You are currently occupying property of the parks, and your presence is obstructing the process of a city construction site. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be filed against you. If you refuse to, you will be subject to an arrest.
Stolen property! Stolen land! 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 Stolen property! Stolen land!
This is Sergeant Martinez from the New York City Parks Department. You are currently occupying property of the parks. Your presence is obstructing the process of the city construction site. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be filed against you. If you refuse to, you'll be subject to an arrest.
Our park!
Whose park?
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 Our park! Our park! Whose park? 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 Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Saying that they serve and protect, here to protect the special interest, here to protect money, here to protect Bill de Blasio's scheme of this land grab, not here to stand with us, with the people who pay their wages with our tax money. This is what your tax money pays for police officers to come and stop us from protecting our public parks peacefully. Peacefully. This is where our tax dollars go. Instead of going to revitalize. Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park!
Whose park?
Our park! Our park!
The police will never be on the side of the people. They will never be on the side of nature. They will never be on the side of protecting what matters. Because the police are the foot soldiers of capitalism. They are the foot soldiers of climate destruction. They are the foot soldiers of empire. And what is happening in this park, it is just another iteration
Money that's not even yours. Money
that's not even yours.
You will never see that money. They're gonna fuck you over just like they fucked us.
Don't worry, because
as we do right now.
when the water rises, NYPD's finest is gonna go down with it. All of us will. Because when the water rises, your little bosses are not gonna protect you. All you are foot soldiers of climate catastrophe. Foot soldiers of environmental ruin. Foot soldiers of ecocide. And I hope that you all understand how serious it is what you're doing right now. How serious it is that you are absolutely destroying one of the last green spaces in Manhattan, in the Lenapehoking land. And that is an important thing to keep in mind. You should be disgusted with yourselves. I hope that you go home tonight and you tell your kids how you stood there while they were destroying one of the last green spaces in New York City. And when your kids are grown, they're gonna remember and they're gonna know that your legacy was that you allowed the destruction of one of New York City's last large public parks. And that's gonna be your legacy. Our legacy is gonna be that we tried to stop you and that we fought to stop you. And I can live with that. Can you live with yourself? Can you live with yourself knowing that you allowed 90-year-old trees to be killed? I don't know. I don't know.
Just doing your job is no excuse. That's right. Do your thing. Do the right thing. Do your job. Quit your job.
You're the taxpayers.
But you should leave now from that section if you want to go this way, because they're starting to put yellow. They're starting to put yellow back, so you should move out of. I don't know where it is. All these things that are like this. Here.
Yeah, because it's a crime scene. That's why.
It's a crime scene.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Disobey! Disobey your cow! Shame! 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 Shame!
Disgusting!
Bill de Blasio was trying to go out with a bang and have this be his legacy of the destruction of East River Park. I don't know why anyone would want that to be their political legacy alongside, you know, the brutalizing.
Okay, Press, they're closing this down here, so you may want to walk out with it, okay? Behind the tape.
Behind the tape? What tape?
No. Look to your left, it's going up. That's what we're letting you know.
What tape are you talking about?
Look, you see the tape?
Yes.
Okay, so just I'm letting you know. We're putting tape up. You want to move along.
I saw the tape.
Oh,
What's
you
your
said
name,
no.
officer?
You said it's close to 0. I said you got to move from the tape up. You said what tape?
Yeah.
I said that tape. You said what tape again? And I said to you that tape. So I pointed it to it, and I said it's going up over
where do you
there.
want people to be?
On the other side of the tape, sir. That's what I'm saying to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Yes, one person.
If you guys want to split up, if you don't, if you want to split up, one of you each end. If you want to split up, that's fine. Okay.
So that part of that coming in.
Yeah, that's Andrea, take a couple people.
By cutting down trees. And that is just the truth. That is just the truth.
And if you previously go on the other side of the police, the initial charge trespass is just a summary.
He said there'd be about 3 of them. I will.
How are people gonna exercise? Are they gonna run on the SDR drive? I don't think so.
I think they'd rather us do that.
You got the one that trespass.
We refuse the SDR!
We refuse the SDR!
We refuse the SDR!
We refuse the SDR!
Once again, ESCR is the name of this plan that is going to destroy East River Park, that is going to raise the park 10 feet with toxic filling. It is going to create a park on top, which will be mostly made up of concrete and astroturf. That concrete and astroturf is not going to be climate resilient. It is not going to help flooding in the Lower East Side, but they want us to think that it will. They want us to think that this is a fight between climate resiliency and saving the park. But the truth is that saving the park is true climate resiliency. Expanding the park is true climate resiliency. Planting more trees is educating the community on composting. There was a compost yard in this park, but it has already been removed. All the people that brought their food scraps down here to create compost, now they have to go very far to do that. And that is not resilient, because composting is one of the most ecologically sound things that we can do with our waste. Compost helps to grow trees stronger and healthier. And that's what we need to be focusing on, how we can grow a healthier future. Destroying the compost yard goes absolutely against creating that brighter future. They put this sign here that says a construction site, do not enter. This is a destruction site. What you're doing is the beginning of a destruction process. Let's speak frankly about what's going on here. This is not resiliency. This is destruction. This is gentrification. This is violence. This is real violence. Us protesting, that's not violence. That's love. What we're doing, this is love for our communities, for our city, and for these trees. You do not protect and serve us. And you are not New York City's finest. We are New York City's finest. Because we got here at the crack of dawn to try to stop you from doing this. And that's real courage. What you're doing right now, that is not courage. That's complacency. And you will have to think about this for the rest of your life. And I'm glad I'm on this side of the tape.
They're basically closing.
Are you standing for suicide? Are you standing for saving lives? Are you standing for ecocide? Are you standing for nature, where nature thrives? What are we standing for? And joining in. What are we standing for? What are we standing for? Are we standing for suicide? Are we standing for saving lives? Are we standing for ecocides? Are we standing where nature thrives, like in this park on the Lower East Side? What are we standing for? What are we standing for? What are we standing for? I am asking you, what are we standing for? To keep this park alive, to keep this park alive, and we will keep it alive. Yes, we'll keep it alive. Yes, we'll stand and thrive. Yes, we will keep it alive. What are we standing for? For dogs that can play in the park, for us that can have some fun, for us that we can dance and sing and mingle and get to know each other. So that's what we're standing for. That's what it's standing for. All of us together. Let's wrap that thing up. And we can go home and have a cup of coffee. What are we standing for? For equality and community. For equality and community. That's what we're standing for. What are we standing for? For nature and for beauty. And for not wasting money. Not wasting our money and nobody else's money, because we need it and money is hard to get by. For some of us at least. So that's what we're standing for. That's what we're standing for.
Right. The sign goes for you too. You gotta go behind the yellow line. You have to follow the law. All right, you gotta go behind the yellow line.
Okay, okay. Oh, wait.
More than likely it's 7 degrees.
We do not accept the destruction of this park. We do not accept the sacrifice of our trees to corrupt real estate interests. All we're asking for is a review. Just look at the plan. Why was the plan spent? Independent review is not that much to ask. Side are you on? Side are you on? Are you on the side of suicide? Or are you on the side of saving lives? Are you on the side of ecocide? Or are you on the side where nature thrives? Which side are you on? No! You can't replace these trees! Let them down! Let them
Sir, you gotta stay back.
Save the park! We're gonna keep fighting! We're gonna stop this thing!
Go Virginia.
Love you!
Thank you,
Sir, you can record. Just give me your space. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
¿Quién es el más escandaloso? Pendejo. ¿Cómo se llama? 13717.
Thank you.
7th precinct! Yep. 7th precinct! We better be fast here, little guys.
What year do they teach you?
I know it is bullshit. If you want to save it, I was trying to see if I could save it, the one before for you, and it wouldn't let me do a new one until I didn't think you did. That's what I was just trying to figure
I appreciate that. What do you think?
What do you want me to say?
How you doing? I'm sorry, you didn't scream my name. I wanted to know your name. So this way next time I see you.
Trees are being cut down since 6:30 this morning. In a matter of minutes, a tree that may be 20 years, 30 years old is chopped down like it's nothing, but it is something. This is what ecocide looks like, folks. This 80-year-old tree is being chopped down limb by limb, branch by branch, trunk part by trunk part. It was planted in the 1930s. It's a linden plane tree. Probably. And as we see, it will be turned into mulch. Yes.
Sad. Very sad.
Do you live nearby?
Well, I have a volunteer in the garden that do at the amphitheater. I wish I could have saved some of my wow.
Totally. It's so gross. I cannot stand it.
Oh, there was 1,000 trees. They're
Get ready
starting
to
here.
suffocate on the Lower East Side with no trees.
No
Are
trees.
you ready?
They wouldn't cut it in
Suffocation
Central Park,
time.
but they'll cut it down this way.
Call the mayor.
Yeah.
Time to suffocate. Keep your watch.
See the tree stumps.
Nobody's business.
We have a temporary restraining order. We have a temporary restraining. Here's the guy. We have a temporary restraining order. We have a temporary restraining order. You're currently in violation. The copy of it is coming right now. Please stop. Please stop this. He said, okay. We have a temporary restraining order. Please stop. Please stop. We have a temporary restraining order. Thank you. Sorry, I took your camera.
You have to stop. It's
You have to stop.
We just got it from Albany. You have to stop.
When they violate the restraining order. That is work.
They're probably taking the logs for their house.
Yeah, that doesn't include this area. I got it.
You need to get that green fence.
I got it.
You got the plate number?
I cannot see the plate number.
I got it on mine.
Yeah, okay.
Did you get it?